I was sitting in my divorce lawyer's office in Denver, Colorado on a Tuesday morning in October 2024, exactly 12 hours after my husband walked out on me. Most women would be crying, devastated, begging their husband to come back, fighting to save their marriage. I was signing divorce papers. My lawyer, Patricia Morrison, looked at me across her desk, studied my face, my calm demeanor, my steady hands, my lack of tears. "You're filing fast. Most people take weeks to even make the appointment. You're here the next morning. Why wait? He made his choice. Your husband left you for your best friend last night, and you're already filing for divorce this morning. That's unusual. I'm practical." Patricia flipped through the petition I just signed, read through the asset disclosure, scan the financial statements, then stopped, looked up at me, really looked at me. Her expression changed. From professional neutrality to something else. Surprise, realization, understanding. "Sarah," she said slowly, "does your husband know what? About?" She gestured vaguely at the papers. "About any of this?" I smiled, small, knowing. "No." Patricia leaned back in her leather chair. A slow smile spread across her face. "He doesn't know, does he? He has absolutely no idea what he just walked away from. Not a clue." "How much are we talking about here?" I just smiled wider. Enough to make him regret this for the rest of his life?" "Oh yes, more than enough for that." Patricia laughed, actually laughed out loud. "This is going to be the most satisfying divorce I've ever handled, and I've been doing this for 20 years. "I hope so. When did you decide to file so quickly?" "The moment he walked out the door. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Most people wait, hope, try to reconcile. I'm not most people." Before I tell you what my husband didn't know, how long I'd been hiding it, and what happened when he finally found out what he'd lost, please like this video and let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Because this is a story about the woman who played the long game, kept her secrets, and won everything. My name is Sarah Michelle Hartley. I'm 32 years old. And for the past 8 years, I've been living a lie, not a malicious lie. A protective one, a strategic one. I grew up in Denver, middle-class family. My dad was an accountant. My mom was a real estate agent. We were comfortable but not wealthy. We took one vacation a year, ate out on weekends. Had everything we needed but nothing extravagant. My grandmother, Alina Hartley, was different. She came from old Colorado mining money. Her family had made a fortune in silver mines back in the 1800s. The kind of wealth that built mansions and funded universities. But Alina was also cautious, protective, smart about money in ways most people aren't. When I was 16, she sat me down for a conversation that changed my entire life. "Sarah, I'm going to tell you something most people never learn. Money changes people. It reveals who they really are, and not always in good ways." "What do you mean, Grandma?" "I mean that people will use you if they know you have money. They'll pretend to love you, pretend to care about you, but really they just want access to what you have. I've seen it destroy 3 marriages in our family. Your great-aunt married a man who spent her entire inheritance on gambling. Your uncle's wife divorced him and took half his business. Your cousin's husband gambled away her trust fund in 2 years. That's sad. It's reality, so I'm going to teach you something important, something I learned the hard way. If you're smart, you'll never let anyone know exactly what you have. You'll test people, watch how they treat you when they think you have nothing. That's when you see their true character." "How do I do that?" "You live modestly, you work. You act like you're struggling, and you watch. You'll be amazed what people reveal when they think there's nothing to gain from you." Alina died when I was 24, left me everything in a trust, her house, her investments, her accumulated wealth, but there was a condition, a crucial one. I couldn't access it until I turned 33, nearly a decade away. By then, you'll know who you are, who you can trust, what you want from life. You'll be old enough to handle wealth responsibly. You'll have tested the people around you. So for 8 years, I've been living a carefully constructed life, a performance, really. I went to college, got a degree in creative writing. Not because I wanted to be rich, but because I wanted to appear like I was choosing passion over profit. I started working as a freelance writer after graduation, articles for websites, blog posts for small businesses. Marketing copy, content creation. I made about $40,000 a year, enough to live on in Denver if you were careful, not enough to seem wealthy, just enough to seem like you were getting by. I moved into Eleanor's old house. A modest three-bedroom in a decent Denver neighborhood, built in the 1970s, needed some repairs, outdated kitchen, old carpet, nothing fancy, nothing that screamed money. To everyone who knew me, I was Sarah the struggling writer, living in her grandmother's old house because she couldn't afford anything else, barely making ends meet, worried about bills. Perfect cover, perfect camouflage, but behind the scenes I was doing other things, things nobody knew about. I had a side business, financial consulting, under a pseudonym, online only, helping small businesses with budget planning and investment strategies. That brought in another $30,000 a year, but I never told anyone about it. I also started investing, carefully, strategically, taking small amounts and building them into something larger. By 2019, when I met Michael, I had a nice little nest egg growing. Nothing huge yet, but building, compounding, growing. In 2019, I met Michael Chen, 34 years old, middle management at a tech company. Made about $90,000 a year, decent salary, not rich, not poor, just comfortably middle class. We met at a coffee shop. I was working on my laptop. He was reading a book. We both reached for the same sugar packet at the condiment station, laughed about it, started talking. He was charming, funny, down to earth, seemed genuine. We dated for 6 months. He never asked about money. Seemed happy splitting bills 50-50. Never tried to access my accounts or move into my house. He proposed in 2020, small ring, simple band with a modest diamond, nothing extravagant. I saved for 6 months to buy this. I hope you like it. I did like it, because it showed he wasn't trying to impress me with money he didn't have. He was being honest about his means. We got married in 2021, small wedding, 50 guests, my parents, his parents, close friends, simple ceremony at a local venue, reception at a nice but not fancy restaurant, nothing extravagant, nothing that would make anyone think we had money. I kept my finances completely separate. Told Michael I was old-fashioned, that I believed in financial independence within marriage, that my grandmother had taught me to always maintain my own accounts. Whatever makes you happy, Sarah. I trust you. We split household expenses 50-50. He paid his bills. I paid mine. We had one joint account for shared costs like groceries, utilities, and date nights. Each of us contributed $1,000 a month. Everything else stayed separate. My accounts, his accounts, completely divided. Michael never questioned it, never asked to see my other accounts. Never wondered why I was so insistent on financial independence. Because he thought I had nothing to hide, just a struggling writer trying to maintain some autonomy and control. My best friend during all this was Lisa Brennan. We'd been friends since college, roommates for 2 years. Stayed close after graduation, had girls' nights every week, shared everything, or so I thought. Lisa was a marketing manager at a mid-sized firm, made $60,000 a year, always complained about money, about struggling to save, about living paycheck to paycheck. You're so lucky, she'd tell me. Michael is perfect, stable, kind, employed. You found a good one. I did. Do you think he has any single friends, someone like him? I'll ask around. We'd have girls' nights at my house, wine and movies, complaining about work, talking about relationships, being best friends. Lisa knew I was a freelance writer, knew I lived in my grandmother's old house, thought I was barely making it financially. How do you afford this house on a writer's salary? She asked once. My grandmother left it to me, no mortgage, I just pay property taxes and utilities. It's the only reason I can survive as a freelance writer, otherwise I'd be renting some tiny apartment. Lucky you, inherited property is a lifesaver. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without it. Neither Michael nor Lisa had any idea that I was living a double life. That behind the struggling writer facade, I was building something else entirely. Something that would change everything when the time was right. In early 2024, things started to change. Small things at first, easy to dismiss, easy to explain away. Michael started working late, coming home at 8, 9, sometimes 10 p.m., always with reasonable excuses. Big project at work, sorry babe, I'll make it up to you this weekend. The team is behind schedule, I need to put in extra hours. My boss is breathing down my neck. I have to stay late. He started going to the gym more frequently, every morning before work, sometimes after work too, lost 15 pounds over 2 months. Just trying to stay healthy, feel better about myself. You know, hitting my mid-30s, need to take care of my body. He bought new clothes, nicer shirts, better fitting jeans, a leather jacket, new shoes. My old stuff was getting worn out. Figured it was time to upgrade my wardrobe. Look more professional? He started being distant emotionally, less affectionate, less interested in spending time together. Movie nights became him scrolling on his phone. Date nights became canceled plans. I'm just stressed, work stuff. You understand, right? Once this project is done, things will go back to normal. All the classic signs, every woman knows them, every friend warns you about them. The working late, the appearance changes, the emotional distance. The phone he suddenly guards. I knew what was happening, but I didn't want to believe it, didn't want to confront it, didn't want to be that suspicious wife. But by March 2024, I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I hired a private investigator. Marcus Webb, former Denver PD detective, ran his own agency now, specialized in infidelity cases. Excellent reputation, discreet, professional. I think my husband is having an affair. I need proof, documentation, everything. What makes you think that? Gut instinct, and a dozen red flags, late nights, changed behavior, new habits, all the classics. I'll follow him for 2 weeks, document everything. You'll have your answer? Marcus followed Michael for 2 weeks, took hundreds of photos, documented every suspicious meeting, every unusual location, every pattern. Then he came to my house with a folder full of evidence. Thick folder. Too thick. Your husband is having an affair, no doubt about it. My stomach dropped even though I'd expected it. With who? A woman named Lisa Brennan. My blood went cold. What? Lisa Brennan. I have her address, license plate, employment information. Is that name familiar? She's my best friend since college. Marcus's face showed sympathy. I'm sorry, that makes this worse. He showed me photos, Michael and Lisa together. Kissing in parking lots, holding hands at restaurants across town, entering her apartment building together, leaving hours later looking like a couple. How long has this been going on? At least 3 months that I could document with certainty, possibly longer. They're careful, they vary their meeting locations, different restaurants, different times, but they have patterns. Do they ever meet at my house? No, never at your house. Always her apartment or hotels or restaurants. They're not that stupid. I paid Marcus his fee, thanked him for his work, sat in my house staring at the evidence. Photos of my husband and my best friend. The 2 people I trusted most in the world, together, betraying me. It would have destroyed me if I'd actually trusted them completely. But a leaner's voice was in my head. Test people, watch them when they think you have nothing. That's when you see who they really are. Now I knew both of them had shown me exactly who they were, but I didn't confront them. Not yet. I waited, watched. Let them think they were getting away with it. Let them dig themselves deeper. In September 2024, Michael started talking about selling my house, bringing it up casually, repeatedly. Sarah, I've been thinking maybe we should sell this house, buy something bigger, something newer. This place is getting old, needs a lot of repairs. I like this house, it was my grandmother's. I know, but we could get something really nice. Better neighborhood, more space, modern kitchen, it would be an upgrade. Translation, he wanted half the value when we divorced, thought it was community property, thought he'd walk away with hundreds of thousands. What he didn't know. I'd inherited it before marriage, it was separate property, completely mine. He had zero legal claim to $1 of its value. I'm not ready to sell, Michael. This house means something to me. But we could make such a good profit in this market. I said no, I'm not discussing this again. I could see his frustration, the calculation in his eyes, the realization that I wasn't going to give him what he wanted. In early October, Lisa started acting weird during our girls' nights. Guilty, uncomfortable, couldn't maintain eye contact. Are you okay? I asked one Thursday evening. You seem distracted. Yeah, just stressed about work. New projects, demanding deadlines, you know how it is. Anything you want to talk about? No, nothing, I'm fine, just tired, maybe we should call it an early night. She left at 8 p.m. Usually she stayed until 10 or 11. Rushed out like she had somewhere to be, I knew where she was going, to meet Michael. On October 15, 2024, Michael came home at 6 p.m. with a suitcase already packed. Pre-planned. Ready? Sarah, we need to talk. About what? About us, about our marriage. I'm not happy anymore, haven't been for a while. Okay, what's wrong? Everything. I feel like we've grown apart, like we want different things, like we're not compatible anymore. Like we're just roommates sharing a house, not partners building a life. All the standard lines cheaters use, the same tired scripts, the same excuses I'd heard in a dozen friends' divorces. What are you saying, Michael? I'm saying I need space, time to figure out what I want, time to think about our future. I'm going to stay with a friend for a while just to clear my head. What friend? Just someone from work, nobody you know. Liar, such an obvious, pathetic lie. If that's what you need, then okay. You're not going to fight for us, for our marriage. If you want to leave, I won't stop you. I won't beg someone to stay who wants to go. He looked surprised, shocked, even like he'd expected tears, begging, drama, pleading on my knees. I'll come by this week to get more of my stuff. I'll box it up for you. Make it easier. He left, walked out the door, drove straight to Lisa's apartment. Marcus confirmed it with photos 30 minutes later. I sat in my house, alone, not crying, not devastated, not heartbroken. Planning my next move, thinking about timing, thinking about strategy. Elinor's voice in my head. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I believed them now, both of them. The next morning, October 16, 2024, I walked into Patricia Morrison's office at 9 a.m. sharp. First appointment of the day. I need to file for divorce, today. As soon as possible. Patricia looked up from her desk. When did you decide this? Last night. My husband left me for my best friend, moved out, moved in with her. I want a divorce as quickly as Colorado law allows. That's very fast. Are you sure you don't want to take some time to think about it? I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Patricia pulled up the divorce paperwork on her computer, started typing. Okay. Let's go through this. Tell me about your assets, property, investments, savings. I own my house, inherited it before marriage. He has no claim to it. That's good. That simplifies things. What else? We have a joint checking account for household expenses, about $2,000 in it. He can have all of it. I don't care. That's generous of you. I don't care about $2,000. I just want him gone from my life. What about retirement accounts, investment accounts, other assets? I have a small retirement account in my name only. Started it before marriage. He contributed nothing to it. He might still be entitled to half of any gains during the marriage under Colorado's marital property laws. The gains are minimal, maybe $10,000 total. I'll concede them if it speeds up the divorce. I want this done as fast as possible. What does your husband have? A $401,000 from his job, maybe $40,000 in it, some savings in his personal account. Maybe $5,000 his car, that's about it. And you're fine letting him keep all of that? Yes, I don't want anything from him, not his retirement money, not his savings. Nothing, I just want out, clean break, no drama, no fighting, just done. Patricia looked impressed. Pleasantly surprised. This is going to be one of the easiest divorces I've ever handled. No kids, no shared property, no contested assets, no fighting over money. We can probably have this finalized in 60 days if he cooperates. 90 days maximum. Perfect, that's exactly what I want. Patricia continued typing. Then she looked up at me, really looked at me, studied my face, my calm demeanor, my complete lack of emotion. You're remarkably calm for someone whose husband just ran off with her best friend less than 24 hours ago. I know what I want, and what I want is to be free of him. Most people take weeks to even process this kind of betrayal. You're filing the next morning. Why wait? Waiting doesn't change anything. Patricia read through my financial disclosure form carefully, then stopped. Her eyes went to one section, then another, then back. Her expression changed. Understanding dawned on her face. Sarah, does your husband know about? No. Does he know about any of? No, nothing. He knows nothing. Patricia's eyes widened. He doesn't know, does he? He has absolutely no idea what he just walked away from. Not a clue. Not even the slightest idea. Are we talking significant amounts here? I smiled but didn't elaborate, didn't give numbers, just smiled mysteriously. Let's just say he's going to regret this decision, very much. For the rest of his life. How significant? Significant enough that when he finds out, he'll realize he made the biggest mistake of his entire life. Patricia laughed, shook her head in disbelief. Oh, I like you already. This is going to be fun. I hope so. Patricia filed the divorce papers that afternoon, served Michael at Lisa's apartment 3 days later through a professional process server. October 19, 2024, Michael called me. Furious, angry, confused. Divorce papers, Sarah, really? I've been gone 3 days and you're already filing for divorce? You left, I'm making it official and legal. I said I needed space, not a divorce. You moved in with another woman, Michael. That's not space, that's a separation, I'm just formalizing it. Silence on the line, long silence. He realized I knew. How did you know about Lisa? You think I'm stupid. You've been having an affair with her for months. The late nights, the new clothes, the distance, you were obvious. Sarah, I made a mistake. Yes, you did. A huge one, and now we're getting divorced. Sign the papers, Michael. Don't make this difficult. What about the house, our assets? I'm entitled to half of everything. You're entitled to nothing. The house was mine before we married, separate property. The joint account has $2,000 in it. Take it all. I don't care. Your $401,000 is yours. My retirement account is mine. We have nothing community property to split. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Michael. You cheated on me with my best friend. You walked out. You chose her. Now live with that choice. Sign the papers. I hung up on him, felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anger, just empty finality. Lisa called 2 hours later, crying, hysterical. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Save it, Lisa. I don't want to hear your excuses. I never meant to hurt you. It just happened. Nothing just happens. You made choices. You slept with my husband. You helped him cheat on me. You destroyed our friendship. You destroyed my marriage. For what? A man making $90,000 a year. It wasn't about money. Everything is about money, Lisa. You just don't know it yet, but you will soon enough. I hung up on her too, blocked both their numbers, done with both of them. Deleted them from my life as easily as deleting contacts from a phone. November 1, 2024, my 33rd birthday, the day everything changed, the day the waiting ended, the day I could finally access what a leaner had left me. I woke up early, got dressed, drove to my bank in downtown Denver. Met with my wealth manager, Steven Rodriguez. He'd been managing a leaner's money for decades. Now he managed mine. Happy birthday, Sarah. Today's the big day. Yes, it is. How do you feel? Ready? I've been waiting for this for 9 years. Steven pulled up the accounts on his computer. Numbers I'd been watching grow for nearly a decade but couldn't touch, couldn't access, couldn't use. Your grandmother's trust has officially matured. Everything is now fully accessible to you. No more restrictions, no more waiting. Show me. The trust fund is now worth $3.2 million. Your grandmother started with $2 million. Smart investments and compound interest over 9 years brought it to this. I nodded, expected. The leaner had projected this. Combined with the inheritance that cleared probate last month, your liquid assets total approximately $5 million. $5 million. Inaccessible cash, mine, completely mine. And the other investments? Your personal stock portfolio is currently valued at $900,000. The tech startup you invested in 5 years ago is going public in January. Your shares should be worth between 4 and 5 million based on current IPO projections. I did the math quickly in my head. So total net worth around 10 to 11 million. Possibly 12 depending on how the IPO performs. Correct, you're a very wealthy woman, Sarah. Congratulations. I signed the transfer paperwork, moved everything into accessible accounts. Accounts only I controlled. Accounts Michael knew nothing about. Accounts that were now completely mine. Oh, and Sarah, I should mention something important for your situation. Since your husband left before the trust matured, and since you've already filed for divorce, all of this is completely separate property under Colorado law. He has absolutely no claim to any of it, not $1. I know, that's exactly how my grandmother planned it. She structured the trust to mature at 33 specifically because she knew by then I'd know who I could trust. She was a very smart woman. She was the smartest woman I ever knew. I drove home slowly, processing, feeling the weight of it, the freedom, the power, the validation. Alina had been right about everything. Test people when they think you have nothing. Watch how they treat you, see their true character. Michael had failed spectacularly, so had Lisa. I sat in Alina's old house, the house Michael had wanted to sell. The house he'd thought represented my financial struggle, the house he'd seen as his ticket to divorce profits. I poured a glass of expensive wine I'd been saving for this exact day. A 2015 Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, $200 a bottle, hidden in my basement wine cellar behind the cheap wines Michael knew about. My phone rang. Patricia. Sarah, I have news. Michael signed the divorce papers this morning. That was fast. He realized he has no leverage, no claim to the house, no significant community property. He signed everything without fighting. The divorce will be final in early December, 6 weeks from now. Perfect. By the way, I got an interesting call from Michael's lawyer this morning. He wanted to negotiate a settlement. Thought maybe you'd pay Michael something to finalize the divorce quickly, avoid the waiting period. Avoid any potential hassle. I laughed out loud. What did you tell them? I told them you're a freelance writer making $40,000 a year living in your grandmother's old house, that you have minimal assets, that you have nothing to give. They backed off immediately. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Sarah, can I ask you something just between us, attorney-client privilege? What exactly did your husband walk away from? You don't have to give me specifics, just ballpark? I smiled, sipped my expensive wine. Everything, Patricia, he walked away from everything and he has no idea. I've been a divorce attorney for 20 years. This is the most beautiful irony I've ever seen. My grandmother would be proud. She certainly would be. 2 weeks after the trust fund matured, mid-November 2024, I ran into Lisa at the grocery store. Pure chance. Wrong place, wrong time for her. She looked terrible, dark circles under her eyes. Hair messy and showing roots. Cheap clothes from Target. No makeup, weight loss that wasn't healthy. Sarah, Lisa, can we talk, please? Just 5 minutes. I know I don't deserve it, but please. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Curiosity more than anything else. We sat in her car in the parking lot. It smelled like fast food and desperation. Old French fries, stale coffee, stress. I made a huge mistake, Lisa said, crying actual tears. Mascara running? Michael isn't who I thought he was. What do you mean? He's broke, Sarah, completely broke. I thought he had money. He works in tech, manager position, dresses well, drives a decent car. I assumed he was successful. Had savings, had a future. He makes $90,000 a year, that's decent money. But he has nothing saved, nothing. His $401,000 is pathetic, $40,000 after 10 years of working. He has credit card debt I didn't know about, $15,000. He spends everything he makes. We can barely afford rent on my apartment. I hid my satisfaction, kept my face neutral. That's unfortunate. I quit my job to be with him. I thought we'd have this great life together, that his salary would be enough, that we'd be comfortable. But we're struggling, we're eating ramen noodles. I'm behind on my car payment. Why did you quit your job, Lisa? That seems impulsive. Because Michael said his salary was enough for both of us, that we didn't need 2 incomes, that I could take time to find something better, but it's not enough. The market is terrible. I haven't found anything yet. It's been a month. Sounds like you made several bad choices. I destroyed our friendship for a man who has nothing, who lied about his financial situation, who promised me a life he can't deliver. Can you lend me some money, just until I find a job, a few thousand? I'll pay you back, I promise. I stared at her, the absolute audacity, the nerve, the entitlement. You want me to lend you money after you slept with my husband? After you destroyed my marriage? After you betrayed 10 years of friendship? I know I don't deserve it, but I'm desperate. I'm behind on rent. My car might get repossessed. I have nothing. The answer is no. Sarah, please, no. You made your choices. You wanted Michael. You got him. Now you get to live with everything that comes with that choice, including his financial irresponsibility, including his debts, including struggling to make ends meet. I got out of her car, started walking to mine. Wait, Lisa called after me. Sarah, wait. I stopped, turned around. Someone said something about you, about inheritance money from your grandmother. Is that true? I froze. The secret was leaking. Someone knew something. What did you hear? Someone from college saw something on LinkedIn or heard something. They mentioned your grandmother left you money, that you inherited something. Is it true? I looked at her, made a decision, not to tell her everything, but to give her just enough to wonder. Worry about your own finances, Lisa, not mine. You have enough problems. I drove away, left her standing in the parking lot, confused, suspicious. The secret was starting to leak. People were beginning to talk, beginning to wonder. Soon everyone would know, but not yet, not quite yet. December 2024. My divorce finalized on December 12th. I was officially Sarah Hartley again, single, free, legally untethered, and ready to build. With the trust fund accessible and the divorce final, I started making serious moves. First, I hired a team. Professional advisors who knew what they were doing, a wealth management firm. Financial advisors who specialized in high net worth clients. Tax attorneys who understood asset protection. Real estate agents who worked with investors. I want to build a diversified portfolio: real estate, stocks, businesses, multiple income streams. My lead advisor, James Park, was impressed. Most people your age don't think this strategically. My grandmother taught me well. What's your risk tolerance? Moderate. I want growth but also stability. I'm playing the long game. Smart. Let's start with real estate, income-producing properties. We found my first investment property in January 2025, an 8-unit apartment complex near the University of Denver. Good neighborhood, solid bones, reliable tenants, mostly students and young professionals. Purchase price, $1.2 million. I paid cash, no mortgage, no debt, complete ownership. Immediate rental income, $8,000 monthly. After expenses, property management, taxes, and maintenance reserves, about $6,000 net. $72,000 annually from one property. Next, I bought 3 commercial properties. Small strip malls with existing tenants. National chain stores with long-term leases. Low maintenance, predictable income. A strip mall in Aurora with a grocery store, dry cleaner, and insurance office. Purchase price, $900,000. A retail center in Lakewood with a pharmacy, coffee shop, and pizza place. Purchase price, $800,000. A small professional building in Boulder with medical offices. Purchase price, $800,000. Total investment, $2.5 million in commercial real estate. Combined rental income from all 3, $15,000 monthly. After expenses, about $12,000 net. $144,000 annually. I diversified the stock portfolio significantly, moved money into dividend aristocrats. Companies that had paid increasing dividends for 25+ consecutive years. Blue chip stocks, boring companies, utilities, consumer staples, healthcare, things people always needed. Expected annual dividend income, $60,000. I kept the startup shares, waited patiently for the January IPO. I also started my own business, not hiding anymore, operating under my real name. Hartley Financial Consulting, building wealth through strategic planning. Rented professional office space in downtown Denver. Modern furniture. Glass conference room. Professional setup. Hired 2 employees. Experienced financial planners looking for a better work environment than corporate firms. Started taking clients. Small business owners who needed help with financial planning. Young professionals wanting investment advice. People trying to build wealth responsibly. The business was immediately profitable. My reputation from years of pseudonymous online consulting had built credibility. Word of mouth spread fast in Denver's business community. By February 2025, my monthly income looked like this. Real estate rental income, apartments, $6,000 real estate rental income, commercial, $12,000 stock dividend income, $5,000 monthly average. Consulting business profit, $4,000 monthly average. Total passive and business income, $27,000 monthly, $324,000 annually. I was making more in passive income than Michael made working full-time. The startup IPO happened in late January 2025. The market reception exceeded everyone's expectations. Investors loved the company. Stock price opened at $42 and climbed to $58 within 2 weeks. My 5% stake, purchased for $50,000 5 years earlier, was now worth $5.2 million. After capital gains taxes at the long-term rate, I cleared $3.7 million net. I reinvested $2 million into more real estate. Kept $1.7 million liquid for opportunities. Total net worth by March 2025, approximately $16 million. Real estate equity, $4.5 million. Stock portfolio, $3 million. Business equity, $500,000. Cash and liquid investments, $8 million. I was 33 years old, financially independent. Could retire immediately if I wanted to, never work another day, live comfortably on passive income alone. But I didn't want to retire. I wanted to build more, create more, help others. I started a nonprofit, the Eleanor Hartley Foundation, named after my grandmother. Mission: teaching women financial independence, financial literacy, investment basics, asset protection. Your money is your power, never give that power to someone else. Eleanor's wisdom, now my mission, now my legacy. I hired a director, rented space, created curriculum, started offering free classes to women in Denver, budgeting basics, understanding credit, investment fundamentals, retirement planning. The classes filled immediately, women hungry for knowledge, for power, for independence. My empire was growing, and Michael still had no idea. March 2025, 5 months after Michael walked out, I ran into him at a coffee shop, the same coffee shop where we'd met 6 years earlier. Ironic, poetic, perfect. He looked rough, tired, older than his 36 years. Dark circles under his eyes, cheap clothes, defeated posture, weight gain around his middle. Sarah, Michael, can we talk, please? Just 5 minutes? I don't think that's a good idea. Please, I need to say something. I owe you that much? I sighed, checked my expensive watch, a Rolex I'd bought myself as a divorce present. 5 minutes. We sat at a corner table. He had cheap coffee, I had an elaborate latte. I made a mistake, Michael said, voice cracking with emotion. The biggest mistake of my life, leaving you, was stupid. I was an idiot, a complete fool. I threw away everything for nothing. Yes, you were an idiot. Lisa and I broke up last month. It didn't work out between us. I heard. She was only with me for money. When she realized I didn't have any, that I couldn't support the lifestyle she wanted, she lost interest. Started looking for someone else. Karma is efficient. She's dating some lawyer now. Guy makes $300,000 a year. She found someone who can actually take care of her financially. Good for her. I've been thinking about you. About us, about what we had, what I threw away. I want to apologize, really apologize, not just words. I want to make things right between us. Michael, there is no us. We're divorced. That chapter is closed, finished, done. But we could try again, start over. I've changed. You haven't changed. You're just broke and lonely and desperate. That's not change, that's consequences. That's not fair, it's completely fair. You left me for another woman. Cheated on me with my best friend for months. Lied to my face repeatedly. Filed for divorce. Now that it didn't work out, now that you're struggling financially, now that you're alone, you want me back. That's not change. That's desperation and convenience. Michael's face reddened, anger breaking through the sadness. I'm trying to apologize, to make amends, to fix what I broke. I don't want your apology, I don't want your amends. I want you to leave me alone and let me live my life in peace. You're being cruel, I'm being honest, something you never were with me throughout our entire marriage. I stood up to leave. 5 minutes were more than up. Wait, Sarah. Please, I heard something about you, about your money, about inheritance. I froze, turned around slowly. What did you hear? Someone said something, a mutual friend from college. They mentioned you inherited money from your grandmother. That you're wealthy now. They saw you at some charity event, saw your name on a donor list. Is it true? I looked at him, made a decision. Time for him to know. Time for him to understand exactly what he'd walked away from. Time for him to feel the full weight of his mistake. Yes, Michael, it's true, every word. His face went pale, white, like all the blood drained from his body. What? I inherited $3.2 million from my grandmother last November. The trust matured on my 33rd birthday, right after you left me. Perfect timing. $3 million. I also had an inheritance of $1.8 million that cleared probate in October, right before you walked out. You left me 2 weeks before I had access to $5 million. Michael looked like he might vomit, like he might pass out. I had a stock portfolio worth $900,000 that you never knew about, plus startup shares that vested in January for $5.2 million. After taxes, I cleared $3.7 million from that alone. How much? I'm worth approximately $16 million now, Michael. I own 4 income-producing properties, run a successful consulting business, started a nonprofit foundation. I generate over $300,000 annually in passive income alone. $16 million, and you walked away from all of it, from every single dollar, for Lisa. For a woman making $60,000 a year who quit her job and expected you to support her. You traded a multimillionaire for a broke marketing manager. You never told me because I wanted to see who you really were. I wanted to test you, see if you loved me for me. See if you'd stay faithful when you thought there was nothing to gain. See if you were trustworthy. But I didn't know, that's the entire point. You didn't know, you left me thinking I was broke, thinking I was a struggling writer with nothing to offer you financially. And you left anyway, you chose Lisa over me. You chose an affair over our marriage not because of money, because of who you are as a person. Sarah, if you'd known, you would have stayed, but not because you loved me, because you loved my money. That's exactly why I didn't tell you. That's exactly why my grandmother structured the trust the way she did, to test people, to see their true character when they think there's nothing to gain. No, we couldn't. Because even if you hadn't cheated, even if you'd stayed faithful, I would have divorced you eventually anyway. You failed the test, Michael. The test to see if you loved me when you thought I had nothing. You failed spectacularly. What test? You never told me there was a test? That's because it only works if you don't know it's happening. You showed me who you really are, a cheater, a liar, someone who throws away 8 years for temporary excitement. Someone not worthy of what I built. I walked away, left him sitting there, stunned, devastated, processing, realizing what he'd lost, every dollar, every opportunity, every dream. All gone because he couldn't keep his pants zipped and his commitment intact. It felt better than I'd imagined it would. Clean, final, satisfying, October 2025. 1 year since Michael walked out. 1 year since everything changed. I'm 33 years old, worth approximately $17 million now. The portfolio keeps growing. I own a beautiful home in Cherry Creek, Denver's most prestigious neighborhood, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Home office with mountain views, pool, 3-car garage, purchase price $2.4 million, paid cash, modern kitchen, hardwood floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, everything I ever dreamed about. I run 2 successful businesses now. The consulting firm employs 8 people. We manage over $30 million in client assets, generates solid 6-figure annual profit. The Alina Hartley Foundation has grown beyond my expectations. We've taught over 500 women financial literacy in the past year, changed lives, created independence. I own 12 apartment units now, 6 commercial properties, generate $45,000 monthly in rental income, over $500,000 annually. My stock portfolio has grown to $4 million, dividend income now $75,000 annually, total annual income from all sources approximately $600,000. And growing. I'm dating someone. His name is Daniel Martinez. He's 34. High school history teacher at a Denver public school, makes $47,000 a year, drives a 10-year-old Subaru. Lives simply in a small apartment near his school. He had no idea I was wealthy when we met. Thought I was just a financial consultant making decent money, nothing special. And he loved me anyway, for my personality, my humor, my values, my mind, my passion for helping others. We met at a charity event I was hosting for the foundation. He volunteered. We started talking. He asked me out for coffee. We've been dating for 4 months now, taking it slow. Building trust, making sure we're right for each other. After 3 months, I told him the truth about everything, the inheritance, the empire, the $16 million. You're worth how much? He asked, eyes wide. 17 million now, actually. The portfolio keeps growing. He laughed, shook his head in amazement. You've been letting me pay for coffee dates with my teacher salary this whole time. Because I wanted you to feel like an equal partner. Your money is just as valuable as mine. Your contribution just as important. The amount doesn't matter to me. Does it matter that I'll never make anywhere near what you make? Not even a little bit. I don't need someone to support me financially. I need someone who loves me for me, who respects me, who's faithful and honest. That's what matters. I do love you for you, the money is. Honestly, it's intimidating. But it's not why I'm here. I'm here because you make me laugh, because you're brilliant and passionate, because you challenge me to be better, good, because I've learned the hard way. Money changes people. But only if you let it. I needed to know you wouldn't change. I won't, I promise. And so far, he hasn't. We're building something real, something based on trust and honesty and genuine connection. Michael has tried to contact me several more times over the past year. Emails that somehow bypass my blocks, text messages from new numbers, even showed up at my new house once. I don't know how he found my address. Probably looked up property records, saw my name on a $2 million house purchase. Sarah, please let me explain, let me apologize properly. We could start over. I've changed. I'm different now. Michael, I've moved on, literally and figuratively. You should too. I made a mistake, you made a choice. Choices have consequences. These are yours. Now leave my property or I'll call the police for trespassing. He left, but sent another email a week later. Long, rambling, desperate. I didn't read it, just deleted it. Blocked that email address too. He finally stopped trying in August. Accepted that we were permanently done, that I'd never take him back, that he'd permanently and irrevocably lost access to my life and my wealth. Lisa reached out in July, long apologetic email, thousands of words, explanations, excuses, regrets. I was stupid, selfish, jealous of what you had with Michael. I destroyed our friendship for a man who wasn't worth it. I wish I could go back and change everything. I wish I could undo what I did. Can we talk? Can I apologize in person? I miss you. I miss our friendship. I didn't respond, didn't even consider it. Some mistakes can't be fixed. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some relationships once broken can't be repaired. The foundation is broken. The trust is destroyed. There's nothing to build on anymore. Lisa and Michael deserve each other. Both are people who prioritize short-term gratification over long-term stability, who make impulsive, selfish decisions without thinking about consequences, who blame everyone but themselves when those consequences arrive. Last I heard, they're both struggling. Michael's still at his middle management job making $90,000 with nothing saved. Lisa working as a marketing coordinator making $50,000, both barely getting by in expensive Denver. They'll probably end up together again eventually. Two broke, bitter people blaming each other for their struggles, never taking responsibility, never learning from mistakes. Meanwhile, I'm thriving, building, growing, helping others build their own empires. My grandmother Alina would be so proud of me. She taught me everything: how to protect myself, how to be smart, how to test people before trusting them completely, how to build wealth quietly and strategically. Money reveals character. When people think you're broke, when they think there's nothing to gain, that's when they show you who they really are. She was absolutely right about everything. Michael showed me he was a cheater, someone who'd trade love for lust, commitment for excitement, loyalty for temporary fantasy. Lisa showed me she was a betrayer, someone who'd destroy a decade of friendship for a man, someone who'd sacrifice loyalty for opportunity, someone who'd choose personal gain over ethics. And I showed them both that I was smarter, more strategic, more patient, and more capable than they ever imagined possible. They walked away from a multimillionaire thinking they were escaping a struggling writer barely making ends meet. They traded up thinking they were getting something better. They planned a future together thinking they'd won some kind of prize. But they lost everything that mattered because they never knew what they had, what they were walking away from, what they'd sacrificed for a moment of selfish stupidity. They'll spend the rest of their lives knowing they had access to millions, to security, to comfort, to opportunity, and they threw it all away for nothing. I'm Sarah Hartley. I'm 33 years old. I'm worth $17 million. And the man who walked away from me will spend the rest of his life knowing exactly what he lost. Every single dollar, every opportunity, every dream, every possibility, all gone forever. Because he was too stupid and too selfish to recognize what he had when he had it. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone going through a divorce, someone who feels like they've lost everything, someone who needs to know that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's building an empire while they watch from the sidelines. Protect your finances, test people's character, never reveal everything until they've proven themselves worthy of that trust. The best revenge is success, freedom, independence, building something extraordinary while they struggle with the consequences of their choices. Let them watch you thrive while they live with their regrets. Until next time.